streaming. There we go. Now we go live this week. See what happens. I don't know how to do this. Lost my way. No, I think I'm there. Nobody's joining me. They all forgot about me because I went away. Nope, somebody. Hey. Can't see who it is. Of course, the screen's blocked. Someday I will figure out how to fix this. Smaller screens or, well, I can't get smaller speakers. I guess I could lay that speaker down. Didn't forget about you. Well, yeah, last week, we'll explain here in a minute. And yeah, I did post a bit about that, but we'll tell that story. It's just sometimes, like for all of us, life intervenes. So we got frogs, and we got Alicia Fox. Is that what it says? It's just coming over the top of the speaker, so I'm just trying to pick it out. But, yes, it was a bit of an odd week. It was a busy week. And Friday, I had to pick up Sarah and Tyler up in Flagstaff. And I figured I'd pick them up and I'd have enough time. And I would be in here about 4 o'clock. And so the plan was, because Trevor was actually in Williams and coming back on a bus and from a conference. So I decided, well, if he gets back, he should be back before me. So if Trevor gets in, he can start the live up. He could talk about sunsets, and he could do that while I was coming in, and then I could come in, grab my hat, and come in here and take over. And then there was a couple fires. Oh, no, that was on Monday, actually, the fires that slowed me down. Friday, I looked at the clock. I wasn't even to sunset point, and I looked down and I go, oh, it's almost 4 o'clock, which means I'm not going to make it. I'm a long ways from home. So I was like, okay. So then I went and checked what Trevor was, but he wasn't back yet either. So by the time he was going to get in, it was going to be about 4:30, 4:40. And I didn't get back till almost 5, so then I was just like, okay, there is just no reason to even try at this point. So that's what happened. So there's only so fast you can go, and so it does happen, traffic and things at times. So that was pretty much, that was it. I figured I'd be here, and we figured we'd be rolling, and we just weren't. So there, we got it, but we did get in, and everybody's got home, and then we had the weekend, and then Monday I had to take the kids back up, and I came down. There was 2 on the way up. There was nothing on the way back. There were 2 fires. One, I think it was just before Camp Verde or after Camp Verde, between Camp Verde and Cortez Junction, and that one was in the center median and on the side. I had to roll through it. I fortunately got there just at the right time where there was, they were trying to get the fire out, but they hadn't shut down the traffic. They were letting everyone kind of roll through. So I rolled through that one, and then the one at Sunset Point, which was pretty big. That one, the traffic had almost stopped. So that took forever. I ended up spending an hour and a half trying to get through that one. But got home safe. So thought you were at the mountain. No, if I was at the mountain, I would have done this and then left and then made it seem like, oh, he's home, and yeah. But anyways, so don't forget about Sunset. Sunset's doing pretty well. Doing well in the rental downloads. Trevor had to do all the subtitle stuff, and then when you submit this, the first thing is they have to go through and check the subtitles. They have to check everything in the film. They have to verify and make sure there's nothing questionable, whether or not it needs a rating process, because this is a non-rated film. It's a documentary. So it's, I guess, good for all ages. I don't know if there's any swearing in there. There could be. But then he's got to check. What are you going to do? Wheeze through this whole thing? Why don't you take your wheezing somewhere else? Hey. Thank you. Don't be wheezing in here. But okay, thank you, Jax. But so we had to go through that whole process, and then they told Trevor they wanted 3 shipments of the DVD Blu-rays before they would post it. So we got to get 3 shipments in and then send them out, and that'll be 3 batches of 100. So we'll have to send them 300 to get started on that process. So they will be in Amazon here soon, but we had to do that, and then we have a couple places we're dropping a bunch of these off, and then additionally we're going to try to get them in and make them available at Goldfield Ghost Town, Superstition Museum, a few other places. Try to make it convenient for some people where we think they'll catch people's attention or people will want to see it. So, but it's doing well. Trevor's very happy, and the film looks fantastic. We've got nothing but really good feedback. I was expecting a troll or someone to say, it wasn't really my cup of tea or whatever, but everyone's been very complimentary. So if you do get it, chances are, if you're into this stuff, you're definitely going to like it and see a lot of familiar faces. Won't see mine, though. So, I do a voiceover in it, but that's it. So that's that. So we have the sunsets. We've got that. Getting ready to kind of do some stuff. Do some traveling. Checking some stuff out. There's a few ideas I had of other things. I told Trevor we make other trips to other places. Occasionally I wanted to film, and kind of so you could experience some of the other places we go. Not necessarily always treasure hunting, but if you come to visit some other places and stuff. What are we going here? Greetings. Have you ever driven over the fixed Apache Trail Road? No, Frank and I were going to do that. That was going to be something we were going to kind of film, kind of some of the areas we'd been in and the changes in the area since we'd been in there. It's funny because every time they do work in an area, there becomes a conspiracy of some sort of treasure recovery story. And so we're kind of interested going down and seeing what things have changed since we were down in there, since they were down in there for so long. They had years to do whatever they were doing. And we're just curious. You never know. The DeGrazia paintings wouldn't have been worth it to them, but who knows what they found and what they unfound. So that will be one of the things, though, we will do over the winter. And we got our other scheduled plans, but then there's some other things. Like I said, it'd be kind of neat. So we got a couple things we're going to do immediately, and then we're going to see how they look and how the voiceovers work and stuff, and then maybe we'll use them we'll have them in case if I can't make live, we can throw one of those up, or we can run them on a different day of the week. So that was the plan of all that. So that's the next thing fired up to do. We're always talking about different ideas and different things to do. Frank's suggestion always is we should go out and take a trip somewhere specifically in the mountains and film it. And kind of like, instead of the normal boring where it just shows the guide, he shows some plants, and he'd kind of do something a little historical. We did that initially. We went that trip through, what did we do? We did a trip through to Brush Corral Basin and Caballos Camp and up Black Mesa. And when we did that trip, we filmed a bunch, but we didn't do it necessarily on that. We just kind of stopped and filmed in a few places. I think we did 4 or 5 videos. Frank's like, oh, no, you need to do this and do this. Of course, he's not going, so we have to do that stuff. So, but that would be another plan of something else to do. So we have ideas, and then, of course, we have the cabinets full of all the treasure stories, which we finally got back to some treasure stories again, which is fun for me because I'm actually reading files and looking up some stuff and kind of back into the groove of that again. So we ended up with a couple things that we were researching that we may not be willing to air what we're doing with them for a while still, but it was interesting. And I took pictures and we filmed, So there was some things we were filming, and we had to get everything interpreted. And fortunately, my daughter is an English lit major, and her minor is in Spanish. So when I have anything in Spanish, and especially old Spanish, then I just let her deal with it. Um, any trips to Elephant Butte? I don't know. I'd have to ask Frank. I don't know. Elephant Butte's not in my short list right now. I want to kind of revisit a few other places. There's a couple places we've been to the last year that no one's really seen. So we want to kind of go to those spots and finish those off. So that'll be one. But I know we filmed a bit of the Garden Valley trip. I'd like to do something up on Hackberry Mesa. I'd like to do something at Second Water, the Red Paint Mine. I'd like to do something Blacktop Mesa, something on Bluff Springs, some stuff like that. So you get to see a little bit of the trails there. A lot of very few people go up Bluff Springs, the Ely Anderson Trail, and kind of see a lot of that. So that would be interesting to people from the perspective, and most people haven't been up Blacktop Mesa. I think I'm long in the tooth. You never know where I might be mentally to say, Trevor, you know what? We got ourselves in pretty good shape this year to do Weaver's Needle again. I don't know if that's one ever going to be back, but there are certain ones. It's not going to be... Trevor's always bugged me to do the Apache Kid Cave, which people call the Wave Cave, which really bothers me. But I really don't want to do that because I feel like I need to go up there and give a lecture to people up there. And then they got the Shaka Cave, which they go on about that. I don't know. I don't want to do those kind of things. It would be neat to do the old Don's hike through to Geronimo's Cave, the old cave trail hike. The Don's version, which has all these certain things alongside of it. There's trips like that. So I want to do something a bit different. You could put a scratch on my truck. What? You put a scratch on my truck, you're going to pay for it. Who was that? I don't know. How did I put a scratch on your truck at the Rendezvous? I don't even know who it is yet, so you're going to have to bump up before I can see who it is. I don't know of anybody's truck that was around me and how I would have put a scratch on it. Afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the Rendezvous October. Greetings from the UK. Well, you had a good time. But for brains, you put a scratch on my truck at the Rendezvous, you're gonna pay for it. Well, you only used one N in gonna, and I'm surprised you didn't use a U in gonna. But I don't even know if I was ever near anyone's truck at all. No, because the only truck we loaded stuff in and took stuff out of was my truck, and you're not me, so therefore I don't think so. Anyhow, unless you put a scratch on your own truck, and then it's your own problem. So, yeah, Rendezvous went well. Everyone had a good time. There was a couple people that became bitter eggs, but they were just, I think, grumpy. They didn't sleep good. They probably didn't eat good. And, that's going to happen. You can't make everybody happy all the time. Sometimes people get a scratch on their truck. But everything went pretty well. The nice thing about the whole trip was we got home and got all the gear packed away and got Halloween done and got everything done and boom, boom, boom. And, everything got kind of squared away, put away, done. And then there was the other Don's things to do. And so it was kind of nice. I was able to get through there. Happy afternoon. Cheers. Somebody just said hi all. Lacey. It's Lacey. No David, just Lacey. Yeah, you looked around to see if anyone saw you. I don't even know what you're talking about. I looked around to see if anybody saw me. How supposedly did this... I am almost curious how this happened. You licked your finger and tried to rub the scratch away, then you skedaddled. Well, so far I'm saying that's not happening, and that didn't happen, so okay. I don't know where this happened. So... Okay, I licked my finger and I tried to rub it out. Okay. How about Adolf Ruth camp? You could go. Well, there's two places. Well, we did one on that. We didn't film it. We can go where we thought it was. We want to go to where his body was found and his skull was found. That's the one, really. We have you on camera. Okay, well, I don't care because I don't think a scratch on a truck. And exit. What? 99. What is that? Just mean with you. Like, I don't know. I have no idea because I know I didn't do any of that and I don't really care. But if you want to meet me, we can meet somewhere and you can show me the scratch on your truck. And I can take care of that for you. I'm sure if you have a head of hair, I can help buff that out for you. There you go. So, yeah. So, if I was going to scratch your truck, I'd do much better than that. I'd put a big crease dent in it that you couldn't pop out. Yeah, I don't think just to be honest, the worst part about that is I don't think I was near anybody else's truck the entire time. I was in my camp and at my truck. Yeah, so that you could have done better than that. Should have done better than that. Anyhow, so that is the idea of some of the trips and stuff and doing different places. So kind of a little bit of a travel log. I told Trevor, I said, we're out. We always check stuff out, go different things. So Earl Scheib. Is Earl Scheib even still in business? I don't know. All right. Just messing with you. No, I'm not messing with you, but your name's Butt, so I don't know. Son of the Heads. But, yeah, I don't know. I'm actually pretty honest about that. First scratch on my truck was, Tyler was helping me load some stuff, and I had a brand new truck, not a nick, a scratch, nothing in it. And he went to put something in it, and he couldn't get it over. I had the tailgate down, and he tried to throw it over the side for a shortcut. And he ended up dragging it across the side of the truck and putting a big, long scratch in it. And I looked at him. I was like, crap. And he's like, what? And I said, your mom's going to kill me. And so I didn't tell her that he did it. Till it was a year or so later, I let her know. But at the time, she was like, oh, great, what happened here? And he was like scared to death. And I said, oh, I did that accidentally. I was stupid and I scratched it. And oh, great, you scratched a brand new truck. It's not even a month old. It's scratched. Yeah, it's a pickup truck. Saved Tyler. Feeling stupid. But he was stupid. And I did tell him how stupid he was, just being lazy. You know, just bought the truck, dude. Why? Oh, anyhow, that's how that goes. And it's pickup trucks. So they're supposed to like be dirty and have crap in them and smell bad sometimes and have scratches and who knows what else. So my Bronco was the worst. My Bronco was beat. It was a good looking Bronco still, but it got beat up pretty bad. So anyhow, now that we've discovered that I did not mess and scratch someone's truck, lick my finger and try to wipe it away, I was so worried. I need a drink. And a drink Bob Ward. See, there it goes. It all came together all at once. Anyhow, so the week went by pretty well. I hope everybody else did. Tonight's the big fight, by the way. So it's a free fight. We don't have to do pay-per-view, spend like $99 on it, which is nice for a change. So big fight tonight. And then the weather's nice. I think it's about 67 today. It's actually been pretty cool out, regular. Sorry I'm late. I don't even know who that is. I think we missed you. I don't know. Mention about conspiracy theories. Every time the Apache Trail's closed for construction, can you talk about the conspiracy? Everybody just feels like the government shuts it down. But the area they would be shutting down would be the area that goes into the dam. Because the road to the dam is where they would be moving stuff in and out, not on the other end. But people have always said there's treasure in there, stuff at Horse Mesa. One of the weirdest ones is there's a heliport up on Horse Mesa, solar panels, antennas. buildings. There's all kinds of stuff. And I discovered it years and years ago. And I was like, well, what's that for? It's weird. I think there's 6 or 8 big solar panels up there. And the heliport, I didn't see any cameras. But I was kind of like, so I asked Tom Collenborn, this is before he passed away. And he said he didn't know nothing about that. And I said, well, I don't know. It looked like, it could be a repeater tower or something. But there was so much stuff. And then there was pipes and lines that went down over the mountain somewhere into the ground, and I was like, really kind of thought it was weird, but it didn't show any sign anybody been there. And then I just decided it was best for me to stay out of the area. But I've always asked people and brought it up that the place is there. It's not easy to find, but when you find it, you go, what the hell, man? It's pretty crazy that it's up there. So there you go. Would you rather sit on a cholla cactus or fight Mike Tyson cholla cactus? Because I'm going to live after the cholla cactus. You might not live after Tyson, even at 58. I've ran into him a couple times and saw him when he'd be out like running or something, because he's lived. I don't know if he lives in Paradise Valley anymore, but I'd seen him out, and God, that guy's built like a refrigerator. I mean, even when he wasn't training to fight, it was like, that is an impressive build of a human being. But the punching power that man has, what is he, 58? Yeah, I wouldn't mess with that. So, because there's an instinct, and there's muscle memory, and yes, I would not. I wouldn't say, because you would hope that if you said, hey, give me a shot, Mike, that he wouldn't give you full blow, full force. But if he was in a bad mood that day, why would you even want to risk that? So I wouldn't, no. He's one of the hardest punchers who ever boxed. That's not a person. No, when he's 90... Well, see, but when he's 90, I'm going to be like 92. So it's still, I don't want him to hit me. He's probably still going to kill me. So no, I would not take the money, take the risk, because he seems to have been stable for years. But what happens when it's not just biting an ear. What happens if his pride and everything's hurt, and he decides he really unloads one of those uppercuts. Remember those uppercuts that guy threw? He's not going to lose the power. He still has hand speed, because that's something everyone's been able to see in his training. His hand speed's still there. If he tags you, you're done. I mean, you're talking about he's hitting people that are 3 to 4 inches, 5 inches taller than him. Usually have an extra 15, 20 pounds. And he's still, what is he? Tyson's about 6 foot, 5'11", maybe 5'11", and he's about 220, 230. I mean, that is one strong man. So, no, I would not want hit by him under any circumstances. And I'm not interested in that. It's not $1 million question. It's just a question of like, no, I'd rather not be hit. So, by Mike Tyson. And yes, you can say, well, Jake Paul, the YouTuber, is getting $40 million. Well, what happens if Tyson gets in 2-3, boom, and he brings that uppercut in, and you say, well, what are they, 14-ounce gloves instead of 10? That 4 ounces, I don't know what that's really doing for you, but yeah, I just don't know. He could take your head off. Are you really? I'm not banned for the Historical Society. I'm always in their stuff, and they've given me stuff. No, I'm not. No, I'm not banned. The Historical Society, that side of things, which a lot of it, the acquisitions and the research and all that, is Greg Davis, and I work with him always, and I've been part of that off and on for years. So I'm always in the middle of it, whether I pay dues or not, and always bringing in more material to them. The museum's not always been fond of me for some reason. But you know what? People on the board will change. And, So I thought they hate your gut. No, they don't. They don't care for the fact that I think they don't do their job. The museum, the historical society is just the collection. Collection's there. Collection is what it is. The museum should have built a building to house that material and kept it intact for forever. Damn, I got a problem with my mouth. And they should have also kept it about the Lost Dutchman mine and the Superstition Mountains. That should have been the primary focus all the time. It is not. And let's just be clear and simple. It is not. I understand having the UFO thing and the ghost thing to make money, but that becomes the train thing and this thing and the gunfights and all becomes more the primary thing than the actual history of the mountains. It was founded and made by the 5 gentlemen that were involved purely so they would have a place to leave their collections, and it would be about the mountains and preserve all that. And that's not what it's functioning as. That's my problem. And I bring it up, and I brought it up in the lectures I gave. And I will continue to do that. I may never lecture there again. I may lecture there again. But I haven't since both lectures I gave. I made sure I was very clear and outspoken, because I think the membership should be able to explain to the board what they need to do and turn things around. And hopefully they will, but that is a problem. I guarantee you, other than Greg Davis, most of them have nothing to do with the actual history and couldn't give you a good lecture, or lesson, or anything in depth. They think they know, they don't know. And Clay's still around, but Clay can't get out there and do anything or do lectures. Greg, I don't know if he's ever really done a lecture. He might have over the time, but, Tom's gone. Ron Lawrence is gone. Larry Hedrick can't have anything. Larry, I don't think, has anything to do with the museum at all. Hedrick. So I think he's kind of like away from it. Tom had broken away from it. So that's the problem. And the problem is my mouth, where I just go in and decide the only way you can fix something is to explain it and make sure the membership and people that would be in the board in the future understand this is what should be done and correct your path. And that's that. And if they don't like that and have a problem with me, who cares? I brought them a lot of money. I've brought them a lot of money and a lot of people. And you don't find anything there. We're treated very well. Frank, myself, Woody, all of us. I've always been treated like kings, as far as Goldfield, Bob Shoes, and a lot of other people. Tortilla Flats treated me very well. A lot of people have treated me well. Museum has always been the historical society side of things is always well, that's because I'm in the midst of it, always going through the archives. In fact, all the archival footage that we did from 8mm, and there's a bunch of stuff I'm still working on slides, that stuff all comes from there, so I work on that all the time for them. John D. Mitchell supposedly interviewed Julia Thomas and Petrasius. How does that compare with the Bark Notes? I don't think he would have interviewed both. I didn't see that. I got a bunch of stuff by Mitchell. I don't know. Julia was the one that was available most of the time. So people did talk to Julia. I know Sim Zeeley did. There was a bunch of people got a hold of and Bicknell did. Julia was easy to get a hold of. Reinhardt left, and I've followed him because he was up in Camp Verde. He was down in Cochise County. He bounced around a lot before he ended out in Globe. And from what I gather, when you look at Barry Storm's book, Ralph Papp's book, is that when they would corner Reinhardt, he said very little to anybody and would just refer them to Herman. Because if you read those books, you'll find that Herman was more the source. They might have a little bit of a few quotes or a few things from Reinhardt. They say they spoke to Reinhardt, but then the rest of the material comes from Herman later. And I think that was the essence. Is I think what I got from someone I talked to once said Reinhardt kind of had a problem eventually, I'm sure, but he didn't mind if someone asked him a question and to start to speak. And if someone tried to correct him or act like he was making something up or there was a problem with that, he would just shut up and be like, you know what, talk to Herman. I don't need to bother with you. And I think that was a shame. I think the people, too, were trying to get information from him. So they were doing like, oh, I'm going to write a book about this. Can you tell me all this stuff? And then I think he just wasn't like that. Car. Okay. Thank God it's Friday. Feeling road hard. It'd be R-O-D, road hard. And put away wet. Okay, put up wet. What? Carpenter? I don't know what he's saying. Okay, anyways. So I'll have to look through everything I have on Mitchell. I don't remember. Like I said, a lot of people interviewed Julia, and the interviews are very, very, very similar. But then the problem was people weren't asking Julia things in context of what we'd want to know today to kind of get a better understanding of things. They'd be just like, well, where did he say to go? What? And then she becomes kind of like anybody does, a bit of a tape recording of saying the same story she's telling everyone else. And she probably was embellishing after a while. So what you get from Jim Bark was probably the clearest thing, because that was when they first started to go search. That was in the first year of her searching for it. Reinhardt spoke to Bark. They were probably within the year of Walt's dying. And that probably is the best answer we would get out of that. By the time she talked to, I'm trying to remember the couple she talked to in the early 1900s. Can't remember their names. Anyways, when she talked to them, there was a little more information, but it was general information, like she had gotten a hold of Waltz's sister and let her know that Waltz had passed. She had the address somewhere. She said it's somewhere in the house. She couldn't find it. Said she'd let them know if she found it so they could contact her, but she said, I don't think she knows anything. It was interesting because Julia knew far more about Waltz than you would have thought, but nobody asked her. So someone could have been, hey, do you know what his sister's name was, blah, 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 blah. And she might have had certain information off the top of her head. And what's problematic is nobody was caring about that. They were caring, well, where did he say to go in the mountains? Where did he do? What did he say the mine looked like? How, they were looking at that stuff. And in the historical sense, we lost a lot of stuff. I don't think Waltz's sister and any relative had any information on the mine. So if people who live near the mountain were it was near possible for them to find it, how was someone from Kansas or Oklahoma or someone from somewhere else going to find it? Cartouches, okay. All right. I don't cartouche. I don't know, Egyptian cartouche. So we're just gonna keep saying cartouche. Never heard the Egyptian theory of Fish Creek Canyon or down in that area or along Apache Trail. Never heard that. Just about everything else. I'm sure there's Egyptian stuff. There was the lost ships. I don't think they were Egyptian, though. The ships that came down the Salt River and the galleys and stuff. Maybe those were Egyptian. I'd have to go back and read some of the emails and some of the stuff people were telling me. Because, people are always trying to inform you about the real history of the mountains. And it's like, okay. And then they try to point, well, there's seashells in the side of the mountain, which means the seas were rose, and all these ancient cultures were back in there and stuff. Don't ignore my question, Wayne. What was your question? I'm trying to look for it now. I'm looking for it. I don't see it. I did the Mike Tyson Historical Society. Julia Thomas and Petrash and Bargain Notes. I did that one. I don't see another question. And conspiracy theories. It wasn't that one. I did not see a question by you anywhere. We charge $1 billion a tomb for the King of Spain. Oh, who's Weir? What a con artist. You're such a liar. Oh, we got trolls again. That's fun. Trolls are always good, just making up shit. I didn't lick my finger. I licked the side of the truck earlier to get rid of the scratch. Guess it's messed with Wayne. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, what can they do? They wouldn't do it anywhere else. So we drink to Bob Ward. I'm a con artist. What am I getting out of this? Ooh, I'm not a good con artist because I'm not getting rich off this. You're a liar. You could take some English classes and learn to spell better, though, bud. It would work better. And so, but okay. Let's see here. Can't wait for the Tuttle Museum or the Sunset Museum. Maybe it's time to start the Tuttle Museum. Nah. All this stuff will go somewhere someday. Probably to Trevor. He gets... When you missed one Friday Legends and now the chat seems like crazy. The chat is always crazy. There's always a few loose cannons in there. People don't know what to do with themselves. I guess when you get trolls, you must be somewhat C-list, D-list famous. Okay, guys, that's enough. Man, once one dog gets pet, then everybody suddenly has to push in and bully in to get pet. One troll, you answer one troll, then they all have to show. Also heard you were on the registered sex. Okay, yeah, that's the problem here is one, you don't have command of the English language. You don't understand how to spell. And, well, you got offender. That was a big word for you. So, also heard you were and convicted of incest. That's what you got. That's what it is. How old are you? What are you, like 12? Because that's how you... I don't know. A 12-year-old probably types and spells better than that. So, oh well. Anyhow... So other conspiracy theories along Fish Creek and all is like, God, just what I heard. Okay, well there you go. Must all be true. Must be perfectly set up there. Block it. Why you block people like that? Because they're not going to come back. If you try to block them, they come back as someone else. If you just let them be, they eventually drift somewhere else because they try to go somewhere where they can get somebody upset rather than... You know, that's kind of what they want. Road as in horse. Road as in... Oh, that we're talking about that there. You have trolls in here. Yes, I have trolls. You know, made it to the top. Do you have trolls? We're in the opera question. Maybe your computer is messed up or something. Oh. Is that Dallas? I can't tell. No, that's Steve Wiggins. Maybe, okay. I can't see that at the bottom of the first. I gotta fix this and get this so I can see that first 2-3 lines. Anyhow, as we move along and through everything, man, time's not flying by when you have trolls. Anyways, is that what they... God, they went kind of big first, too. That's your problem when you're a troll. When you're a troll, you gotta creep in there and get some good questions. And you got to troll, and you got to kind of catch them off guard a bit. And then you got to know something or be able to hint at something that's actually kind of close to some truth. It's frank. But you have to be able to do it really well. And if you're just coming in misspelling words and it's like an 8-year-old trying to type on their phone and some shit like that, it doesn't really work. And come on, man, you know, I had to deal with a lot worse than this during the TV show. I'm not a troll. That, well, you know, no. Hold it. Is that the troll or is that, I can't tell. As the superstitions are collapsed calderas and volcanic tuft. The fact that volcanic activity can force water cavities causing mineralization. Wayne, get cheater glasses. I need no glare. Dollar stores. I can't live without them. No, I can see. I just have the problem with the glares. The next project is, Trevor keeps bugging me, I got to get lights put in the ceiling here to get light. It's actually very dim in here. It looks pretty good on the screen, but it's actually very, very dim in here. And then when I have to open the blinds to let some light in, which I need to, otherwise, the lighting would be way off because it would be bright here, but it wouldn't work with trying to film me. It creates a glare, and the way I get light in is to turn everything so the light comes this way, which reflects off the monitors, so it just creates nothing but problems. And everything's flat off to my left, kind of getting a glare and partially blocked. So I'm doing this because the next 4 lines, the very first probably 4 or 5 words are always blocked. So I'm doing this to look around the corner to see what I can kind of see, because I generally can't see the name or the first few words. Geological reason the mine couldn't be. No, the mine could be in there. I mean, because of the calderas, it could be anything. So, because of the very reason of the volcanic activity, we were told, and we've done this before, the fact that the Goldfield area and then some of the area out by Hewitt, you can tell the areas are most conducive to the gold. And the Peralta Road area should really be. And they said that area should have been just as active in the possibilities, because it has to do with the layer effect. And the layer effect in those areas is going to make the digging for gold, it'd be much shallower than other spots. But it necessarily isn't. And there's a lot of things you try to look at and all. Now you have to remember, and this is always a problem, and it's not meant to be an insult at prospectors worldwide, but they would take it this way: is a lot of people don't know what the hell they're doing out there, and they think they're following things, or they're finding very little gold, and it's not very cost effective, and they don't understand what they're finding in relationship to where they should be looking. So because they found a little, but they didn't find some over here, they stick there and drive themselves nuts trying to find more gold. Gold is everywhere, so because of that, you're going to find it, but because you find it doesn't mean it's necessarily going to be worthwhile. So you're looking for pockets or areas where you would have gold to make it worthwhile to do that. And there's so many different catches and stuff. A lot of the superstition stuff would be lucky. Now you got to figure whether you want to say it's the Peraltas, the Gonzales, or whoever else, whoever was in there. A lot of the surface stuff in the Western superstitions was... I got it. That one I got to get to. But I work for this. Nobody works for that. But anyways, so the problem is they would have found those surface finds and been able to look at the vegetation and stuff. So a lot of the stuff that most of us would catch would have been caught. And it's been mined. That's why there's so many empty pits and prospects and tunnels and stuff all through the mountains. Because for a long time people have been hitting that. There's very little surface gold because of that, because it's been hit time and time and time and time again for hundreds of years. Now we're looking at stuff as where were these guys and is there anything left and stuff, and the Dutchman is one of those places that supposedly has something left. Now let's get back to the fun. I've heard many an argument how it couldn't be the Way Range, West Range, East Range. Goldfield, the East Range has plenty. There's a lot of silver in that, so there's no sense. And Frankenwoody pulled 20 grand out of there, and Hewitt in a pocket, so there's plenty of gold. It's kind of like whatever it is, and however it is. Do you just go offline and then make another name, or do you have these prepared? Cupcake Screamer. Where do you come up with that? Hi, Wayne. You could have used capitals. I work for the Historical Society. Well, nobody works for the Historical Society. We've had it with your crap. Wish I had my card. Then I could show my card. Nobody works for the Historical Society. You got to fix that. Yeah, it's unfortunately there's nobody works there. Far as the Historical Society and the archives and all that, there's 2 people. One person primarily, and he works on it and is the archivist and stuff, but I'm one of the few people. There's 3 or 4. We know who we are that do that work. I do volunteer work. Oh, okay, great. It's Cupcake Screamer. Is that your real name? I just don't know where people come up with some of those names. That's, is there like an AI thing that just generates stupid names? Alien Antler Hanger. I love Sunsets. It is fantastic. The film is good. Okay, see, that's how you start it. If you're a troll, you start like that. But no, it is fantastic. It was a nice job. Tells a good story. It lets other people tell their stories, which I thought was nice. And they're all very different stories, but you kind of see where they all come to effect. And there was a lot we did that we didn't use in the film because it was way too long. I mean, everybody had another 10, 15 minutes. And then, so it was well over 2 hours. And then we did film some other people kind of intermittently, kind of like talking about who came after these gentlemen who came in the probably late 70s, early 80s. And we wanted to talk to them about their perspective of these guys and the giants that came before them. And it just got too much. I mean, nobody wanted to watch a 3-hour film, and we didn't want to do a part 2. So it was like, okay, we got to kind of leave that stuff out. So that was unfortunate. We did a lot of stuff with Marshall Hyde and Salvador Delgadillo, and we intended it a certain way, and then we thought we'll use it as extras, and then we just realized it's so much work. By the time we were getting to where we were, it was, I like his crap. Okay, there. Well, thank you for defending my crap. Anything new on the Indian Squaw Rock episode you were thinking of doing? No, we got to get up there, because that's when I want to film. That would be on the Squaw Treasure, Sleeping Squaw Treasure. There's 2 sites. One, they believe something was recovered from there. The other one I found, and I thought might actually be the true site, but it's the site of something because something was recovered from there. And I want to go out to both sites and film and talk about that. They're both difficult places to get to, so it's not like, we could do both in a day or 2 or something. It was very tough. So, but I want to get out to both, because the other thing is I want to check both sites again. It's been a while since I've been there, and one of the things is every time you're at some place, you come away and then you go, why didn't I try this? Why didn't I look into this? I should have done this. I should have done that. So I've made myself a list. So that next trip that I do make, it's going to be different. So there you go. I think that old gal that was leaving you their words works for was teasing you works for. I don't think so. There's nobody works for the Historical Society. People, there's thousands of people that are signed up as, for the Historical Society, and the people that are volunteers are actually generally pretty nice, and they don't know who I am. I go in the museum, they have no clue. Jacob Waltz could walk in with his burros and they wouldn't know what he was and what they were talking about. They know the touristy story side of things for the most part. There's very few people there really have any kind of heads up and could sit with me and myself and Greg Davis and other people associated with it. So there is a huge separation. At one time, the Dons of Arizona were all basically Dutch hunters, and it's not that way anymore either. So you have to understand is that the museum was founded by a bunch of Dutch hunters, and those Dutch hunters, and then more people involved, and then it's completely now devoid of Dutch hunters. That was one of the problems I had, is you need to encourage that because your lecture series doesn't involve any Dutch hunters anymore, because nobody wants to do it. I was going to try to get people to do it, and because of how they've kind of treated everything, people aren't interested. But you go to the Mammoth Bar and the saloon and hang out there, and everybody's sitting on the patio, and it's a who's who of Dutch hunting. So Shoes has got all the people going over there, not because of just the alcohol, because everybody feels welcome. And that became a huge problem. And that was something that happened. I never not going to say never because early on he was there. But the last 10 years or so, I never saw Tom Collenborn at the museum. I never saw him step foot anywhere on there and stuff. But he was at Goldfield all the time, and we sat around Goldfield. So that's the difference. It's, if people are not appreciating you. So there are people there, but they wouldn't know Adam from Eve when you get there. I don't know if that's really even a saying. Obvious to see what name he comes up with next. Yeah, see, that's the thing, is he's got a random name generator. Have yet to see a troll be successful on this channel. It's because I'm so good, and I'm nifty, and I'm agile. And I have a vocabulary, and I don't have to type and spell and reply. That's what forums are horrible about. You get two guys that are basically idiots that can't spell and can't do anything, and they argue. And it just becomes nonsense. And then it gets wilder, right? So then the UFOs come down and the aliens come out and they start eating the cats. Any thoughts on what government road could have been? Oh, you're talking about the government trail, the soldiers' military trail? Here's something I know, the military. There's so many ways. You got to figure whoever the scout was going a certain way. And if the scout had went through with someone else, he would use that person's way unless he found something easier. So there would be different trails depending where they were going through to work their way through the mountains. And I had that discussion with Jack Carlson, and Jesse Feldman. Jesse and I talked about it, and I know Jesse's feelings of where he thinks the most promising spots were. But there's different areas, and it's all out kind of like where you knew, where you've been, who you've went through with. So if you were going through with a pack trains or assisting, and then the scout wasn't available, and you said, I know the way, and you kind of knew the way, and it was maybe different, that is the military trail. So I don't know how often they would have been going through there. So, all right. The Lost Dutchman mine is a fluke. It's located where no miners would look. Well, that's what Walt said. Nobody's going to look there. There's no tailing pile and all that. I said historical, not historical. Oh, okay. The Hysterical Society. I'm just trying to get myself through it. Thank you, though, Susan, for correcting me on my misunderstanding your humor there. Sorry, I didn't get the joke. I also work for the Historical Society. Oh, what is this? Sackmaster Overdrive. Wayne, you need to calm down and stop harassing us. We're asking you nicely. I got all your boxes of stuff here, and I got all your stuff, man. Come back and get it back. Please. I got stuff piled down here, man. Why is it all here? Why is all that stuff here? You need to get your stuff and get out of here then. Oh, no, that's right. I was a con artist and a liar. Well, that was someone else, but probably the same person. So I probably took all this stuff surreptitiously and snuck it out. Me and Frank, we wore all black like cat burglars. Which is always a great story because when we were in California shooting some pickup lines, they wanted Frank to talk about something about the Jesuits. And for some unknown reason, Frank's twisted mind came up with the idea that certain things that were like cat burglars, which I didn't understand the relevance. So I'm standing there on camera, and Frank couldn't say cat burglar. He kept saying hamburglar, like the McDonald's hamburglar. And he would say it, and then me and DeLeo would just crack up and just start falling down laughing. And Frank would look at us, what? And we're like, you're saying freaking hamburglar, man. And Frank would be like, what? And we're like, yeah, what are you trying to say? Cat burglar. Well, you're saying hamburglar, man. Stop it. And it got so bad that if you watch that scene where he says it, because I think it's still in there, if you watch that scene, you'll see that I'm no longer in the group. I'm almost out of camera. I'm like 3-4 feet away because I kept laughing every time he would get to that line. I would start cracking up because I would hear in my head, oh, God, because he did it like 4 or 5 times. And it killed me so bad, the hamburgers, which it made no sense in context with the Jesuits. So not only that, it just seemed like, where's he going with this? But then he's saying hamburglar on top of it. So, why would we be talking about the Jesuits as cat burglars or the Templars or whatever he was talking about. Make it the Tactical Society now. We'll call it, that's the real name. That's the Black Ops covert name of the Historical Society, the Tactical. Please do part 2. Are you talking sunsets? That would not... We talked about it and said, could we repeat it or call it something else and do something? But we kind of use the top of the mountain. And unless Tom or certain people, there's nobody else. I mean, that's what it is. What we've decided over time is we'll look at what unreleased stuff we have and we'll put those clips out on YouTube. So you'll get whatever else we had left in the can. Helping our family with technical issues. I missed the live. Well, if you missed the live, then you typed and said you're there, but you didn't miss the live. Sunset on Mingus Mountain and a beautiful... That would actually be nice. So, a little cool up there, though. Cupcakes and butt beans sound like a match made in tortilla flat. It's the lunch special. Okay, now we're talking riddle rubble. I don't know what's going on there. Okay, so... And we're getting down to the nitty-gritty because at 5 o'clock I want to end because I want to pick up groceries, I want to have dinner, and I want to get myself in for the fight tonight. Not the fight with the trolls, even though they are fun. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody. We'll take the view. If 1,000 trolls showed up in here to watch this, it would be pretty cool, and it would keep me amused. I know it wouldn't be fun for the rest of you through it all, but it is engaging, it is a bit silly, and it is a bit fun. I think that's the problem, is I don't really care, and I've only blocked a couple people for just being really nasty to people. I mean, if you're nasty or saying really just ugly things about people, I could care less what you say about me, but when it's about other people or certain things, I'll be like, no, that we can't go there. So, the Hamburglar, though, the Hamburglar still cracks me. I can still... Yeah, if you see that part of the film, we're standing around talking, and the point is where Magnuson is talking about the Jesuits, because he can't say it without saying Jesuit. He can't say Jesuit. He says Jesuits. And that was cracking us up. And then Frank started the Hamburglar shit, and that was the end of me, because it was it was like Dumb and Dumber, basically trying to walk us through this. And... me and Dalil lost it. And Dalil finally was able to, I don't know what he did. He bit his tongue or something, but he was able to hold it together. I could not. Every time Frank started to say, and because he was doing that hesitation, hey, Taz is alive, the Bowman's alive, yay. But every time Frank would get to that line, I would start cracking up because I could see his hesitation and trying to make sure he got the right word. Yeah, why Hamburglar came out of all things. Must have been hungry that day. Thanks. Sorry I missed the Rendezvous. Well, there's always another one coming. Just moved back to AJ. Mountains are calling, but I haven't got the chance yet. Weather will probably get me out there. Yeah, the weather's just beautiful right now. And it's going to continue to be. It's great up north. I agree. The weather down here is awesome. Happy it was a good one. It always could be better. It always could be worse. It always is just the Rendezvous. Always remember this. The Rendezvous is a thing that just Randy and I decided many years ago just happens. And you try to give it a little structure with some things, and things will fall apart and stuff. But then you just let the Rendezvous happen. And it does happen. And Greg Davis always said, if it's just me, him, and Randy on the side of the road, by a campfire, just telling some stories about how good it used to be, it's still the Rendezvous. So the Rendezvous in spirit is just something that happens. It's not to be too organized. That was how we saw its survival. When it first started, everybody was not sure it would get through the 5th year, 6th year, 7th year. And Randy and I realized by taking it all off of there and making it like, just show up, leave your bags at the, baggage at the gate, come on in, have fun, talk, enjoy yourself, share, be cool, everybody get together on the Saturday night. Otherwise, do your own thing if you want to, hang out at the campfires with the rest of us on the Friday evening if you want, but just kind of do what your thing is, move around camp, get to know people. Whatever. If there's a hike, there's a hike. If there's not a hike, there's not a hike. If the guest speakers suck, it just happens to suck. But the whole idea is we were there. And that was the point of, we figured if we let the Rendezvous just be itself, like the mountains should be just be itself, it would survive. And it did. It made it for 20 years, and we've already getting ready to set a date, and it'll have a 21st. And I think that survival is because of the lack of structure to it. If we tried to make it a membership thing, and you got to pay, and you got to do this, if we tried to do that, it just wouldn't work. It'd become very touristy and change and all. So, unfortunately, it's a new generation coming through, and I'm trying to get some of that new generation in. We have a few of those guys, and I think more and more of them will come out and from the cold, and we'll see. So, I thought we were supposed to always remember your Wayne Tuttle, and we are not. Well, you should remember that. Have some ID, or a little tattoo that says that on your arm. I'll be back after Christmas. Can't wait to get back in those. I'm looking forward to seeing you, Bobby. It's been a while. It's been a minute. Humor is always good. Oh, yeah, humor is always... Humor is... If you don't have a sense of humor, what was it Randy and I used to say? If we're not having fun out here and laughing, if we're not having a good time, why are we even out here? So that used to be a big point for us, and definitely being back in the mountains. We always laughed at the silliness of everything and anyone and everything. We were the trolls. There was no live, there was no forum, there was nothing. It was just the two of us walking around the mountains being trolls about other people. But we always found everybody's seriousness to some degree kind of stupid. Well, hey, we're out here walking around looking at stuff that's just absolute bullshit. What the hell are they talking about? And that isn't a very important point, is we would go out and look at stuff for people. We would take pictures. We'd really look hard at it. We'd come back and tell them what we found, and then they say, well, you guys don't know what you're doing out there because, and it's like, what? We were there. I'm sorry. There was nothing there. It's not our fault. But there you go. Click. There's Clint. That's rule one. The most important thing is always have fun, always laugh, always enjoy yourself. And good people will come for that. Good people will always show back up because they had a good time, and you're laughing and enjoying it. We tried to scare Clint into the darkness the first year. Screwed with him a little too much. We're sorry about that, but we found a victim. We went for it. But no, it's, the rendezvous will always kind of like, it'll carry itself on. You don't know what'll happen. I always feel like it could move itself out of there and end up, who knows, come around. But it was a testament to Joe Roboto and certain people originally. People were no longer with us, that they thought this could be a good idea. This is something that could work. Future tense. And Randy and I looked at it and said, okay, they have a great idea, but we know how weird and stubborn and quirky all these guys are. How do we make it work in the future? And that was a thing of the two of us sitting down and trying to understand, how do we do this? And then basically having to tell some people, sometimes you have to have that quiet, off to the side, tough love moment of telling someone, get your ass up there and sit down, because you're a part of this, and we're trying to make this something, and you're just coming out just trying to be like a butthead troll. So, but it did work. And we got it done. So, let's see what I got around the corner here. Okay. And anyways, so it's about time to say goodbye, because I do have to grab up some groceries, and I got to eat, and then what quiet pattern the rendezvous is, that little feet or tiny people? Maybe tiny people. Hi, Wayne. Well, Josh, you just missed us because we're getting ready to vanish. Trevor has come in the door. And hey, Trevor.
Huh?
Hey, Trevor.
Hey.
Okay. So Trevor just came in the door, and it's time for groceries, and it's time to eat, and then it's time for... Well, that'll be ours, but Mike Tyson. But I want to watch the ladies fight as well. Look, who joined us, the producer and director and cinematographer of Sunsets.
Don't forget the editor, too.
He's the editor, too.
Yeah.
And he needs a GoFundMe.
A GoFundMe?
For a good haircut.
What's wrong with my haircut?
I'm sorry. We've had trolls of trolls today.
Trolls of
I think they've left because they got tired of...
Can I see the mouse? Where is it?
Oh, no, don't do it because I'm trying to finish up here. What is the meeting tonight? Or like 4 or something? What? 1 hour? We started at 4. La, 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 the quiet Peter Patter. La, 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 la. I don't know. I'm trying to get out of this. Okay, I'm going to finish up because everybody's talking and you guys can go call each other. The models on the cover. What? What is he saying? Josh Carter. In the model on the cover. What? What is that?
It says in the model on the cover, right?
Yeah, that's Tyler. Tyler's not a model.
What?
Model on the cover. The model on the cover would be the cover of the DVD.
Oh, you're talking about that? Yeah.
It
That's
has to be.
Tyler.
That's Tyler. Tyler, we have to post those pictures again. Yeah, there's a whole series. There's a bunch of film footage and a bunch of stuff of Tyler out there.
Yeah.
Took him out and did the sunset photo.
No, I couldn't have all the credit.
Tyler, yeah, Trevor had to share with his little brother.
Yeah.
Your son, he's the model on the cover, right? Yes, Tyler, not this one, the other one. Yeah, he's got my Black Hawk, and you can't really see it in this one, and my 30-30. But yeah, we took that out. We just drove out, and I told Trevor this would be a good idea. The idea was be on a horse, remember? A horse or a burro with a dog. And then we didn't have a burro. We had a dog, but then it seemed, let's just take him out there. And then we made him walk around and stand there and kept hitting it in the as the sun set until we got it right. And we nailed it. We talked about using Diane as a photographer, but it turned out, I think you captured it. So Trevor did capture it and did an awesome job. So,
I took the photo.
all right, everybody have a great weekend. 5 a.m. clock is in real. 5 a.m. clock. Oh, the clock is at 5 a.m. The clock has no batteries.
Well, couldn't that also
It's
be...
five. It's supposed to be 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Get it? Ka-ting! It's a joke. See, Trevor would have done the snare or something. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. That's why it's set like that, because the batteries aren't in it, and there's a clock on the... rather than turn and look at the clock, I just look here at this. So that's, why the clock's set 5 o'clock somewhere. I met the guy whose picture is being taken. Yeah, that was just Tyler. We decided he was long, lanky, and tall, and... I like Ruger Black Hawk. Okay, well, we got to get out of here, though. See y'all next time. See everybody next time. Tarek Torto told me hi. He really likes the video. He's sorry he couldn't make it. Yeah, I got to give him... I know. Yeah, I know. We had the guys from Diesel Brothers give him the thing. I got to give him a call and talk to him about a couple other things. You're hilarious. I'm hilarious. Who said I'm hilarious? Lacey. Well, Lacey, you don't know humor. You're with David. What the hell, man? And you hang around people like Clint. Well, what do you think? But anyways, you take care. David, take care. Thinking about all you guys. Everybody have a great, wonderful week. Thank you for continuing to watch Chasing Legends. And we will see you all again next Friday. Bye. And everyone have a wonderful night as I look for the mouse because I never do this properly. And I have to look over in the glare. Thank you, everybody. One day we'll have the lights and it'll just seem normal, right? That'd be cool. Then we'll have an opening and everything and an ending. And it's right twice every day, though. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was right, wasn't it? Never thought about that. It's just 5 o'clock somewhere. Maybe I need to put that and make a little thing up there that says it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Anyways, okay, everybody have a great weekend and a great next week. We'll catch you.